Let's talk about Showdown at Cremation Creek, Part 1. I learned while making this video that that's a real part of the Grand Canyon. I guess I had no idea what this episode was named after before, just thought it was some cool sounding words. And I love this episode. It's my favourite of Season 2. I've done my rankings before, though those may have changed. And I love the Monarch, and I love Dr. Girlfriend, I love their relationship, so I love the episode. They may be one of my favourite couples in all of TV history. They're just so perfect for each other. Though Dr. and Mrs. M does have to overlook a few of the Monarch's flaws. The episode starts with their secret love affair.
Hello, girls. Remember me?
The Monarch's tenderness is just slightly ruined by his jealousy.
Maybe you're hiding something from me? Like a little gift that Phantom Limb left in your oven?
Alright, I knew you couldn't handle this.
But I believe these characters truly love each other, and Dr. Girlfriend starts to get a little bit hurt by the Monarch's lack of commitment to their relationship, even though she is staying with Phantom Limb at the moment. I mean, the Monarch even accuses her of being pregnant with his child. God, that could have been a terrible arc for the series.
I love you, but I don't want this.
So the Monarch goes to the ultimate sign of commitment and proposes to Dr. Girlfriend right there and then.
You marry me?
Oh, stop it. I'm worn down from all this.
Marry me.
You being serious?
Deadly serious.
And, of course, she has a long list of demands because...
But we need to make some ground rules. 1.
She can read this man like a book and knows something like this was coming. So, hidden away somewhere...
But where were you hiding that list?
2.
A list of demands proving she knows Monarch probably better than he knows himself. Ultimately, asking him to give up on arching Dr. Venture.
I want you to give up this insane grudge you have with Dr. Venture once and for all.
And the Monarch does it because he loves Dr. Girlfriend that much.
No more arching Dr. Venture.
Ever.
Never.
It's in his blood, and that's practically canon now. He is truly committed to hating Dr. Venture, but he loves this lady more, which I think is something we'd all after. But on the night before the wedding, 24 and 21 have done the impossible. They've managed to capture the entire Venture family.
You open this door and I'll kill you.
What did we do?
All the while at his secret, secluded lair, Phantom Limb is going after the most dangerous game.
Was that Mr. Monday?
And hunting people for sport. It's just an attempt to intimidate the Monarch because these are all his ex-prison buddies.
Dr. Septopus.
Other than the gunshots themselves and Phantom Limb's lackluster control, he's not too scared because the Monarch's got big dick energy. He knows Phantom Limb can't do anything to him here, so why does he care that he kills a bunch of people who betrayed him in the past?
Look, nutjob, I hate these traitorous dinks more than you do.
Phantom Limb gives us the best recipe for serving soup. Cold, precise, and merciless. Just like revenge.
Revenge, like gazpacho soup, is best served cold, precise, and merciless.
Yeah, you can never have enough precision in your soup.
And what would be the finale sort of sequel is the Order of the Triad. They're fighting Torrid.
It's like playing keep away with the neighborhood spastic.
And using their new special move to destroy him, like something out of Power Rangers.
Form the thaumaturgic man mound.
But of course, they're a bunch of middle-aged men and they're struggling to keep up. Al makes a super deep cut reference to the Residences, which I had to look up, and they're this strange sort of music art group with big things on their heads. The references this show has to offer are literally beyond me.
I'm in the residence.
So the Triad decide they need to work on their skills, are going to have a sleepover.
Yeah! Slumber party!
Returning to the cocoon, the Monarch chews out 21 and 24.
You dicks! I promised her! I made a pinky swear! A sacred pinky swear!
With his piercing voice.
I hear that in my eyes.
Will you shut up and listen to your leader?
For capturing the Ventures. Not that he's not impressed with the henchmen.
Look, don't think I'm not impressed. I am.
Is that he is way more committed to Dr. Girlfriend than he is about this hatred, and he doesn't want to break this promise. He's managed to pull this off for an entire month. 21 and 24 then explain how they even managed to get this done. Drunk, stupid, they managed to get lucky.
We were wicked toasty by this point, which is when I spotted this tattoo parlor.
As 21 wanted a new tattoo, they found Brock in a tattoo parlor.
None other than Brock Sampson, who would and has totally ripped our heads off if he saw us coming.
Which, of course, he didn't, so we got the jump on him.
And they managed to ambush him. 1 versus 20, they just about managed to subdue Brock, though he did rip someone's jawbone out and cause some very permanent damage to someone else.
Well, there were, of course, the predictable casualties.
Of course.
But once he was like totally out of the picture,
With Brock down, they went after Dr. Venture as a gift for the Monarch on his wedding day.
we naturally got to thinking, hey, Dr. Venture's like easy pickings now. And what better gift to get the Monarch than his arch nemesis?
As Dr. Girlfriend walks in, the Monarch shows off his high charisma rolls and he manages to blag the whole situation.
He's my best man. You know, I wanted to prove to you I was gonna let bygones be bygones.
Claiming that Rusty is his best man to show how over the hatred he is and committed to her. And he blames the whole thing of them being in a cage on Hank being an idiot.
We were rehearsing the whole ring thing, you know, and the blonde kid, he was all like, wow, is that a real prison cell? And I'm like, yeah, you wanna see inside?
Which is not entirely untrue. And as Dr. Girlfriend and the Monarch make out, Rusty starts to remember who this woman is. Phantom Lim talks to the Sovereign on a big James Bond TV screen as he tells Lim he's not allowed to go after the Monarch.
No movement on the Monarch.
You have my word.
Partly because it would look bad going after a woman who's chosen someone else other than you,
It matters not that you were dumped.
and partly because he's attending the wedding.
I've got a wedding to get to. Oh,
But we see Lim's army ready to attack anyway. Back in the cocoon, Brock says he always thought that the Monarch was a closet case, and I can't blame him with all the spandex and creative writing classes.
I always figured you for a closet case.
Now, in your dreams, macho man.
The Monarch doesn't care, because he knows he's marrying a hottie.
I'm about to marry the hottest piece of ass in supervillainy.
21 and Hank argue over their lot in life,
I don't wear a costume.
What? Are you drunk?
while Dean tries to squeeze information out of a hungover 24.
Are the walls titanium or made of secret rocket ship metal?
What? Who cares? I know they're wicked easy to stain.
And while Brock tries to one-up the Monarch, talking about how manly Dr. Girlfriend is, the Monarch lands a true blow to Brock, talking about how outdated Led Zeppelin is. And, I mean, it's kind of true. It was probably kind of true 20 years ago as well.
Zeppelin albums, yeah, super f***ing cool. When I was like 14.
Rusty's gone to see what the bride's up to. He sneaks into her chambers and is immediately grossed out by what Rusty's insinuating.
That's not the only thing that's big of me.
Are you trying to say something sexual?
Hold on.
He sends the Moppets off to go to a chocolate factory
Why don't you two go help Willy Wonka or something? This is grown-up business.
as he tries his best to sleep with her. The alchemist has arrived at Dr. Orpheus with snacks.
And I got some fancy beer and some chips that are guaranteed to be extreme.
And they're prepared for practice. Alchemist has other plans because he's bought brews, he's bought nickel nips, which are like weird sugar water in a wax case. Again, I had to look some of these up.
You say you're waxy good. Oh, you tease.
Because the alchemist just wants to hang out and enjoy spending time with his friend because they're men in their 40s. Friendships are very few and far between from what I've heard.
I'll try to work up some interest. But in the meanwhile, what say you gents to taking the edge off?
21 and Hank have started to play dress up after looking through 21's toy box.
Who's gonna see you have more toys than a little girl?
What? Dude, there are no toys in here.
And they're talking about Quisp and the Micronauts.
Like an all-knowing head that tells
Quisp?
Quisp that he has to kill
The Micronaut.
the Micronaut.
While Hank practices disguises that may or may not show up later in a psychotic breakdown. Dean, on the other hand, has made 24 want to unalive himself, asking about all of the complex parts of the ships, the panels, the walls, the engines.
I would sure love a tour of the engine room. I've only read about engines that run on antimatter.
Okay there, junior science cadet.
Whilst Dr. and Mrs. M mocked Rusty's insane theories before offering the idea of a threesome.
Yes, exactly. That was my big dream. I wanted to get the Monarch and Dr. Venture together, and then do them both.
Which we now know would be even more wrong than it first seems. Hank becomes Russian Guyovich.
The mirror version of Hank.
Yeah, evil Hank.
Yeah, evil Hank.
I'm always sad we never get to actually see an evil version of Hank or Dean, because that would have been a very fun episode a la Bill and Ted.
Let's go, guys. We'll drive.
I guess Enrico Matassa's kind of that, but not really. Also, 21 has a rusty venture alarm clock.
It's time to get up.
Which I love, and I love that 21 is arching probably one of his boyhood heroes, and it's just never brought up because 21 has lots of flaws, but is a goddamn professional henchman. Jefferson's passed out from all the sugar water.
Still waiting for that chestnut.
Hal's drunk, and Orpheus is fed up, wondering why no one wants to take this seriously.
The Order of the Triad has potential.
Potential?
And I kind of get it. You do want to be a badass fighting force, but, you know, you can't be that serious all the time. Dean hearing voices.
Just don't touch anything. Ding, ding, ding.
What could go wrong?
You know I'm on the PA, not in your mind, right?
What?
Receives a warning from a henchman about a massive amount of bogeys showing up on the radar.
Oh, the radar's been lit up like a Christmas tree. You gotta get these readouts to the Monarch pronto.
Which he completely ignores and sneaks into the engine room.
What is that?
While 24 and 21 are distracted because over at the wedding they're starting to play the music. As Brock works the door.
Yeah, I don't think... Holy moly! That guy is almost a truck!
Putting Hank next to Sergeant Hatred, which is probably not a good idea for him.
Where am I sitting?
You are next to Sergeant Hatred and Guest.
But using his masterful disguise skills, Hatred has no idea who he is.
You're not gonna bad touch me, are you? No! Hello-ski! I am, how you say, Russian Guyovich.
And we learn what a creepy weirdo Hatred is. We've had hints throughout this season. He got very horny at Dr. Venture. The boys said he touched them. And now we have definitive evidence that he's a creepy ass weirdo.
Hot damn it, those things are beautiful. Give me just a little. Give me just a little.
I can't believe this man ends up being a major character in the show. It's so gross. Then the most important thing in the Venturos happens. David Bowie.
Way! Is that?
David Bowie.
Brock Samson. It's been a while.
David Bowie shows up at the Monarch's wedding. Of course, it's a tragedy. They couldn't get the real man. And after some threats from Brock, Naomi, Klaus, and Iggy Pop.
You're welcome to try.
Again, Brock legends. Well, less Naomi Klaus, who are Bowie's bodyguards. They're scary enough to make even Brock back down from a fight with all three of them, especially at a wedding, because Bowie's here to give Dr. Mrs. M away.
He's giving me away. You look fabulous. Thank you so much for doing this, David.
Brock explains the procedure, but of course, Bowie knows when to go out.
I know when to go out.
The groom and the best man seem to have a lot in common as they're chatting away.
Look at all that history. We have so much in common.
Oh, you don't know the half of it, buddy boy.
Little do they know how similar they really are. Rusty starts to mutter Jesse's girl under his breath like a creep.
I want to tell her that I love her, but the point is probably moot.
Are you reciting Jesse's girl?
And he looks like it's going to be a lovely end to the episode. Back at the compound, a defeated Orpheus tries to convince Al that they aren't powerful. They managed to materialize a whole life.
We were able to materialize a spirit from the beyond.
Yeah, poor guy.
Who Al thinks they should probably put down with a spade in the garden.
Can we take him in the back and kill him with a shovel or something?
Al doesn't want to be a gay superhero. He wants to help people.
Being a magic superhero is completely gay. And that is coming from a guy that voluntarily has sex with men.
Orpheus receives a message in his magic pendant, warning them of danger.
It says that Dr. Venture and his entire family are in danger. Then it was something about hundreds of deaths.
And hundreds of deaths. And that's what Al cares about, saving lives.
That I care about.
The Order of the Triad powers up. Orpheus, the Alchemist, and Jefferson still asleep.
For I am the Alchemist!
And I am Dr. Orpheus!
Nine Nub, a Solston pilot, gets to power up for him.
All wings reporting.
And just as the ceremony would finish, an explosion interrupts. Phantom Limb has the cocoon surrounded.
Death do you part.
And what a cliffhanger. This show manages to keep you on the edge of your seat whilst being a comedy, and somehow manages to have David Bowie and references to obscure bands with eyeballs for faces that no one's ever heard of.
Turn over my girlfriend, or I will destroy your ridiculous cocoon and all inside.
What's your favourite episode of Season 2? And I'll catch you in the finale.